Alright, what it is, Danny X. We're here with Uncle Chill, talking about some Snoop Dogg and Connor. This is gonna be a banger. You just know this one's gonna be a banger. Let's go, Chill.
Conor McGregor was in the news today. He was actually talking about Snoop Dogg. Conor is apparently a pothead. I actually didn't know that.
I mean, maybe you didn't know that. But we all know he's a cokehead. And if you're a cokehead, you probably smoke you a little bit of weed. Just saying.
And I got to tell you, I'd rather I didn't know that. I don't love the way these pot guys that used to hide out behind the barn and know what they were doing was weird.
I do like that. I love that. I love that now it is being realized that pot, marijuana, cannabis is a cure-all. It's a miracle cure. And yeah, you know, people use it non-medicinally. You know, they use it just to make a little hot nigga pie every now and again, you know. Make a little hot nigga pie, yo. But I don't know. I like not being persecuted for using a plant from the earth. All the while the people in charge of the persecutions are forcing chemical synthetic compounds on people that are destroying your body. So yeah, I'm down. Cannabis oil is one of the miracle cures on this planet, and I'm going to be doing a video just on that at some point.
And then they come out giggling, but they wouldn't tell anybody. They'd only tell other drug guys. I don't really love how they're out in the open now and being celebrated. I mean, I got to tell you, they did a great job. They won. They changed the laws. I don't love it. I liked when they went and hid behind the barn and knew what they were doing. It was weird. And I didn't know that about Conor McGregor. I just didn't know.
Come on, bro. I mean, what was it, a couple years ago when he put out the video of him smoking a fucking joint, dude, and just being a silly little girl? It was like, what, he's posted some shit where he's like getting the munchies in the middle of the night. I'll go in for like snacks in the fridge and shit. Come on, bro. If anything, that makes me like Connor a little bit more. Now, and I'm not a huge Connor fan either. I mean, he's all right, he's cool, but I missed that era when it was happening live, and when I came back to it. And I watched all those fights from that era. I was actually a lot more impressed with Tony Ferguson's body of work. El Kukui. Dude, like T-Ferg, that's my man right there. That's my man's and them. Roll with it, Chill.
So Snoop Dogg says that he's going to quit smoking dope, which again is weird.
We live different lives, Chill, all right? Chill had both parents. You know, he didn't do drugs. He just stuck to his, you know, that's the difference between having both parents, Chael. Shit. My mom was a pothead. When I was 13, I was allowed to smoke weed. You're lucky I'm not smoking weed right now. Because I thought about coming on this motherfucker with the hooter. Well, this is Dane's world. I do what I want, but... I just, out of respect for Chael, I left the hooter, you know, behind the woodshed.
It's a private thing. Quit. Don't do it. It's weird. The whole thing is weird.
All right. What I was getting at with that is it only seems weird because that's a big deal, someone quitting smoking weed when they've been smoking their whole life, especially someone like Snoop Dogg. And I haven't had... Did you know Snoop Dogg has a professional blunt roller? I guess they just got shit canned.
Connor came out and said it's actually really hard to quit smoking dope. So, now we got a Connor topic.
All right. He's like, oh, Connor popped up with something. Let's go talk about Connor. Even though this is the thing that, you know, you can tell Chill doesn't even want to talk about this shit. He's like, heads and your weird ass fucking shit. But it's lifestyle, man. It's a different lifestyle. And it is a big deal when you quit smoking weed. Like, I just quit because I got tired of posting shit about me quitting smoking weed, and then a week later I'm smoking weed again. So no, I have quit before. I've quit for a year at a time. Just a couple times I've quit for like 6 to 8 months, but it's like the movie Half Baked. You'll be back. But it is fucking my lungs up though. I do need to quit smoking it and need to just start ingesting the cannabis oil. because that's the most medicinal way. Anytime you're inhaling combustible carbons, that is fucking your lungs up. And after smoking, I'm 38 right now. I started smoking when I was 13, so that's like 25 years or some shit. I've been smoking for a while now, so it's starting to catch up to me. Need to lay off the combustible carbons.
My only point, we got to color topic. And it is really tough when you have drug addicts. It's a really hard thing. And even if the drug addicts have got to convince the world that it's a medicine, either way.
It's a slippery slope, and it's a thin line, ain't it, between drug and medicine, right? And both of those words are used as double-edged swords. You know, you can be like drug, and it'll have the negative connotations with it, or you can be like, oh, it's approved drugged, you know, by someone in a white coat, and all of a sudden it's got positive connotations to it. All right, so people need to be aware of the connotations superimposed on words. Just all words in general as you go throughout life, because that tells you a lot about what's going on with the world around you. Roll with it, Chael.
You do not take a drug that can harm you. You don't take a drug that could kill you. You don't take a drug that is illegal. You don't do that. And
hard stop. Right, Chael, just don't do that. Just don't. Oh, I knew this one was going to be a banger. All right.
Be a guy that wouldn't take a drug that could make you better. There's not a person out there, right? I mean, there's certain rules to things. You guys want to disagree. Like, here, let me just give you one. If you found out your kid was doing cocaine, there is zero part of you.
Cocaine!
Zero. That would believe the kid or even take the time to ask the.
Oh, you want my cocaine story? Okay. I'm from Florida, so, you know, cocaine. But, and you would think, but there was only one time. I never did coke a whole lot. I don't like uppers. I've done it. I can count in both hands how many times I've done it. So that's not a whole lot. And, but there was only one time I actually got good coke. And I didn't know I had bad cokes all the other time until the one time where I got good coke. And down in Florida, every year they used to have a weekend-long concert. It was like a mini Woodstock. It was called Livestock. And one year I went, my girlfriend at the time, we were sitting there smoking a joint. And this dude comes walking up, and he's like, yo, man, if you let me, he was a little white dude. He's like, yo, man, you let me hit what you got, I'll let you have some of what I got. We didn't even fucking ask him what he had. Or just, I mean, we would have just shared anyway if he just said, hey, man, can I hit that? So we just passed it to him, and he took a couple hits. And then he's like, okay. Then he started reaching way down up in his pants. I'm like, whoa, bro, easy. And he pulls out this tiny little baggie. And in that tiny little baggie, he just... See, anytime you hear about someone doing lines of coke, unless they do that shit like every fucking day, if you can sit there and do a line, you got some busted ass coke. Because if you did a line of real shit, like you just need a teeny tiny little bump. And I felt that shit for hours. And that's how I knew that all the other times was bunk ass coke. And I only did it a few times in my life. And I suggest, because instead of the cocaine, which is derived from adding chemicals, is you want to make a coca oil out of the leaves, and it's all natural product, and you take it medicinally here and there as needed. You know, that's what plants are for. And it's naturopathy. It's healing yourself with nature. You know, that's what it's for. Same thing with opium. You know, people were using that as a pain reliever responsibly for thousands of years. You know, not everyone responsibly, some people irresponsibly, but just because someone's using something irresponsibly doesn't mean you can be like, okay, no one's allowed to have it now. So if someone was sitting there killing someone with water, you know, drowning them, like high pressure water, whatever, killing someone with water, all of a sudden they did something bad with water. Now no one's allowed to have water because some motherfucker killed someone with water, you know? But we come from different worlds, Chael. It's cool. You're still cool. I still like you. I mean, obviously, fuck. I've been watching you from the start. Let's roll with it, homie.
Kid, have you drank alcohol before? You now have your answer, right?
I'm not a big alcoholic, if you're asking me personally, you know. I drink a little bit here and there. There's bad alcoholism on both sides of my family. And my brother got hit with it pretty hard. He's got a hard time saying no. From 15 to 25, I didn't drink at all. I'm talking about a single drop. I got drunk a few times when I was like 14. maybe 15, just a handful of times. I'm like, I don't like this shit. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like the feel of it. Anything past the buzz. So anytime I do drink, I just go in for like a light buzz, and I might maintain that for an hour or two, and then I'm done. Generally, you know. I've only been like full on sloshed a few times, schwazied, some might say, and I didn't like that.
If a person is a father and has a child, you would never ask them because you would know full well, you wouldn't have to say, have you kissed somebody before? You would never ask.
Okay, and following this line of logic here, Phil's gonna have something to talk about, you know, but following this line of logic here, like I said at the very beginning of the video, we all know Connor's a cokehead, right? We know he's a cokehead, so, and believe you me, he be getting that good shit. So, we know he's a pothead too. Just saying. Just following that logic that you laid out for us, Chill. But I know you gotta have a video, right? Me too. Roll with it.
That you would have your answer. But it is true that you could be a mother or father of a child and have never kissed somebody. That actually is true.
I mean, the possibility's there, right? And that's what he's getting at.
It's true you could have done cocaine and never have had alcohol. It is true. But you would never ask. There's no reasonable person that's going to believe that. You would sound like a fool. I mean, I have to bring that up because we're in the wake of the Conor McGregor and the USADA business, of which I've defended Conor from the beginning. From the beginning, I've defended it. But if you're a dope...
Who would have thought, you know? Because I knew something was going to happen with Conor and USADA, but who would have thought that UFC would have like full on told USADA to get fucked just so Conor can come back a little bit earlier? And watch it, time-wise, it'll probably be about what it would have been with USADA anyway. Hey, you can say what you want, Dana. We all know why you got rid of fucking USADA.
Smoker, of course you're going to take something that will help you. Of course you are. Somebody tells me that they own a gun. I don't ever need to ask them, do you have a knife? But it's one of those things. So, what did happen with Conor and USADA? Like, USADA was not good at breaking up. That was one of the great public...
So what happened was Dana was like, we can get Conor in a little bit earlier, get him in on UFC 300 and maximize some pay-per-views, which will pay us way more than what you know the relationship with USADA is bringing us. So, I mean, it's basic business, I would say.
mistakes, possibly that I've seen.
And I hear you motherfuckers. What you know about basic business? You basically a fucking hobo on your own land, Dane. Fair point.
Big companies make mistakes all the time, but to do it so publicly and to have it be your choice, very weird thing to do. And in some ways, Conor came out of that looking a little bit victimized, which he was. You are still confronted with the other side of it. That it's very simple paperwork, and Conor didn't do it. So you're just left to ask yourself why. And
tell me why.
There could be an answer that's very simple. Conor, who has an ego like anybody else, letting USADA know, I'll do all of your...
No, I don't agree with that statement. Conor has a very special ego. And I'm not one of those ego-phobic motherfuckers either, where people are always associating negative connotations with the word ego. Because I believe when you're talking about ego, you are talking about self. And granted, ego is only a fraction of the entirety of self. But the entire point of life on this planet is to develop such a strong, centered self that you bring that with you to the next life. And by bringing that self with you, you also bring the lessons you've learned through that self with you. Now, I'm not talking about like entirely, but just like minimally, because I do believe in recycling of souls. All souls are connected to the all soul. All souls are a fraction of the all soul, okay? The all spark, the collective cosmic consciousness. And that's just one of my beliefs there. I'm allowed to have whatever imaginary friends fuckers y'all do. Roll with it, chill.
Rules, but you don't have a rule that says I have to be back for 6 months. So I'm going to do all of your rules, but you're not going to make rules up exclusively for me. Now, that would have to be tested. And I've seen media members cite the code within USADA where they get this 180-day business. That's accurate, but there's another.
I just hope John Jones is taking advantage of this USADA-less environment that Dana has accidentally cultivated. I hope not like USADA, you know, you're trying to tell me fucking Jones didn't put on that size without no PEDs when he was using PEDs his whole fucking career? Get fucked.
Code within USADA, and that's the one Connor's deferring to, where that doesn't have to be. That would have to be tested. We found out nobody wanted to test it. They were just going to do it USADA's way. That's what we found out. But I'm suggesting this because before you believe Connor didn't enter the pool because he was dirty, you don't have really strong evidence of that. He went into training camp. He came out to Nevada. He did.
No, we don't have strong evidence of that. Dropping out of the pool, disappearing, running around on his yacht for like half a year or a year or whatever. And then there's just the before and afters. I think we have, I mean, at least some fucking, we got some kind of evidence going
The
on
Ultimate
there,
Fighter in Nevada, they could have tested him anytime they wanted. They could have walked up and tested him. And if he would have refused it, they would have taken his license just like they did Vanderlei Silva's.
Mm.
As wildly and disgustingly unfair as that is, they did to Vanderlei. They could have done the same to Connor. They had the right to test him. He did not have to be in the... A misunderstanding by you, and you got that from the media that doesn't understand the rule, much like when they... section that says 180 days for a returning fighter, they left out the other section that Connor's arguing to. Says it can be at discretion. So, here's what...
And I remember when Connor first broke his leg, Chael brought that point up. He was like, there is this little piece in the contract right here that says at UFC's discretion. I remember that.
Wondering why, right? The guy that I defended, I saw the pictures, and I see the problems. I don't have a problem with the truth, which is,
All right, Chael will never come out and blast someone for being on roids unless they have, like, crossed him. You know, and even then... You know, he wouldn't do it overtly. It would be unless they seriously if they cross him, it's scorched earth. But just as a rule, Chael, that's not his. He's not gonna out someone for something that he did. You know.
I didn't enter the pool because I wasn't sure I could pass it. What do you mean you couldn't pass it? Well, I was working on my leg, and you got a cross-reference, and I kind of deferred that over to my management. Feel free to speak to my legal team, but we wanted to make sure that we came in with clean hands. That's fair and responsible. There'd be nothing about that. That might be hard to explain to the average person, but why would you care if you had to explain it if you're telling the world you're a drug addict like Snoop Dogg? But right, it's one of those things. I'm going to refuse a drug test, but I don't want to discuss that. I don't want anybody to think that I was on drugs.
And anytime I quit smoking weed, I can feel my my testosterone. Like smoking weed all the time definitely suppresses testosterone because when I quit for a couple weeks, it's just like an undercurrent of testosterone, which is probably the baseline that I've been suppressing the whole time, you know? I feel that shit.
Hey guys, guess what? I'm a drug addict like Snoop Dogg.
See, like, then you got motherfuckers like me that no fucks given, you know? Just be who you are and live. And if someone has some name to call you over that, then fuck it. I'm already a fucking burnt brownie cracker. I'm already not accepted by any one of them three races that I is, so fucking roll with it.
I don't understand. I won't continue to defend. I can't continue now to tell you that he wasn't on drugs. I can't do that. He's now told the world he does drugs. Fine. Fine. The world will forgive him. You guys will forgive him. I understand that I'm alone on this one. I fully do.
I mean, not completely alone. I mean, there's someone else out there right there with you. But I think there's a lot more that smoke a little bit of weed here and there and don't think it's a big deal.
Get that. It does seem like a question that somebody would follow up with, though. And you got the return of Conor McGregor coming, and that's another one of these things that's a bit of a mystery. He's going to come back. He's going to come back to MMA. He's going to come back to the...
I don't know, UFC 300, dude. I can just feel it. You know, that's the biggest fucking card ever. You know, and dude, Conor's going to be on that card. You just know it.
UFC is going to come back against Michael Chandler. When is he going to come back? And there was talks of UFC 300. Those were allegedly dispelled by his own coach that said, so we want it as well, but now it's looking like summertime. Big show in the summertime called International Fight Week. So a lot of these things are adding up and making sense. And of the must-see fights for Conor McGregor.
All right, right off the bat, and this is just me, I'm probably alone on this, but if Michael, or if Conor does not come back and fight Michael Chandler, I don't care who he comes back and fights. Like, he can fight these other people, but not now. I'm talking about the fight now. Because, like, as a fan, I would just feel way too jerked around by the UFC. Like, for me, if they do anyone besides Conor and Chandler, and do it at 170. I mean, both of them could go up to 170, man. Me personally, I don't want to see cracked out McGregor fucking down at 155. You know, I want to see buffed up McGregor at 170. But I would also like to see him implement more of his old school style that he had a lot more success with. You know, with me personally, I think fucking boxing ruined his goddamn MMA career. I mean, it didn't ruin, because obviously that led to a lot of doors for him and gave him a bunch more money than what, just on that one fight, than what most goddamn UFC fighters make put together. But as far as MMA goes, that ruined his MMA career. Like, he got locked up in this fucking boxing mentality and way too fucking worried about his hands, and he forgot about his feet, is what it seems like to me. He got way too locked up in this really hard aggressive style, and he forgot that, you know, sometimes you got to be, you know, soft and have some suave, you know, some finesse in there. I don't know, like, well, would it chill?
You get put in a little bit of a weird position. And if you're doing your must-see fights, you're going to throw Chandler in there. Now, we must see that because it's the right thing to do to Chandler. And you're going to throw Nate Diaz in there because that is a massive fight in their Oda trilogy. And
see, I see what you're doing right there, Chill. You're trying to muddy the waters with Conor's next fight, because you got people like me that are like, I don't want to see him fight unless he's fighting Michael Chandler. And seriously, and yeah, I want to see these other fights, you know, like Nate Diaz 3, but I don't want to see that until I see the Michael Chandler fight, me personally. I'm just saying, with all that build up and Michael Chandler, you know, he's had a spotty run, and he's like the highest paid, most entertaining a gatekeeper, pretty much, is what's going on there. But honestly, everyone in the UFC is a gatekeeper, and you are constantly fighting for the gate at all times. Holding, you're either ascending past your gate, or you're holding it, making sure no one ascends past you on your gate. You know, the gatekeeper. My opinion. Just depends on how you look at it, I suppose.
when you start looking around at these must-haves, these things we got to have for Conor McGregor, you don't find any of them at 155 pounds. And that's okay, too. But the field and the pool that would call out Conor and understand that he's fair game to be called out could use the information that we're no longer going at 155 pounds. And that's just something that hasn't been established.
Yeah, I think we're past 155 with Conor, and I hope so, because as previously stated, I don't want to see cracked out Conor. I want to see fucking buffed up Conor, you know?
The fight about the 6 months and the debate and USADA, now USADA's got, like, it's one of those things that we're just talking about talking. That's okay. That's good for headlines. I'll bring you in with that, and then I'll get my message to you somewhere out the back door, right? It's a quick little marketing trick that everybody does.
See, that right there was a golden fucking nugget, motherfuckers. He's dropping them left and right. So he just explained right there, you know, you catch the attention with the popular dealio, but then you throw some of your personal points on it on the backside as you're sending them out. See, that's golden nuggets right there, Chael. Appreciate it, man.
But on the Conor situation where you are trying to worry about dates and you are trying to wonder, you're trying to have something to look forward to, or even if you're Michael Chandler and you've been spinning your wheels, man, you've cost yourself a small fortune in fights that you've skipped.
Yes, dude. That's what I'm saying, man. Like Michael's been holding out for Conor. Like a prom date, dude. He's been holding out for him, holding that door open for him, saying, "Come on, baby, please. Come on, let me punch you in the face, baby," just like a prom date.
3 fights, timeline-wise, for a healthy and able and training and in shape and motivated Michael Chandler. 3 fights. It's a lot. 4, and ultimately when he gets in with Conor, if it doesn't get pushed to summer, that'll equal 5. That'll be the time frame of 5 fights all rolling into one. And it's one of these situations where, okay, we've got to get this out of the way. We just do. Just to clean the books, we've got to do this. They're not fighting about anything. There was a rivalry and there's an Ultimate Fighter. There's now not a rivalry and there's not an Ultimate.
And I don't agree with that point entirely. The whole they're not fighting about anything, because everyone brings with them everything they have to every fight. So you're like every single fight you are fighting for your fucking career, you know. So I don't agree with the whole they're not fighting for anything. They are. I think that could very potentially be a number one contender fight for 170 between Chandler and McGregor, depending on their performance. You know, if they both come out with amazing performances, and then like one of them starches the other, like, dude, come on. That's a trampoline right there, right to the fucking title shot.
Fighter, but we said we do it, and we just got to do it. There's not a title. There's not a ranking. There's not a contendership. We just got to do it. We just.
And I believe that fight, Conor and Chandler, they would be fighting for, I don't want to say the right, but fighting to show everyone that they can hang in that division. Even though they're both 155ers fighting each other at 170, but they're also both beefing it up. You know, I think that'll be a high-profile fight for that division. I think 170 is getting pretty interesting, you know?
We got to do it and get it so we can get on to the things we want to get on to. And we can't do any of those until we have a weight class. So for any of you that keep wondering about the Conor and Chandler news, and any of you that keep pursuing it and chasing it and asking me to pursue it and chase it,
it's going to be 170, dude. Because Conor ain't dropping down. It's going to be 170. That's just like one of them little that Dana's holding up his sleeve. That's just one of them little details that Dana's holding up his sleeve. He's going to be systematically dropping fights leading up to the build-up for 300, systematically and strategically, you know, dropping all that info.
Do not ask a question of anybody until you get one question answered up front and first. That is the first ingredient to every fight that's ever been made. Boxing gets included. What weight class are we doing this at?
Woo! All right. There it is. Dark Light and the Bad Guy. I knew that one was going to be a banger. Love hanging out with Chill right here. That's badass. All right. Appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for rolling with the Dark Light, homies.